This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself? Talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
Just in case you missed it, it's the top 5 sports talkers of the day. Now, it's time for Dan Barrero's Top 5 at 5. Brought to you by Gutter Helmet of Minnesota. Never clean your gutters again. Learn more at gutterhelmetmn.com.
Lavelle Bingo could be interesting
yes.
at 5:30 based on where he will be chatting with us from. Sounds like he's at somebody's cabin. He doesn't have a cabin, does he?
He doesn't, but he goes up to this one, I think, every summer.
Yeah.
I was triggered. A memory was triggered when I saw his post.
Yeah. So stay tuned for more details on that at the bottom of the hour.
He's got the drink. He's got, not the drink, but he's got the cigar all ready to go. It's good being Lavelle on a Friday night.
Just hope he doesn't land in the drink. That's what we got to be worried about. Falls over that ledge, that little railing.
Hopefully he stays back.
Yeah.
Have you been following? There's a lot going on between the NFLPA, the owners, collusion. Let's keep contracts low. Your guy Pablo Lopez and Florio are all over this. It's not Pablo Lopez.
Pablo Lopez would be a hell of a story. Pablo Torres, is it?
Torres.
Torres, yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Be nice if Lopez was pitching tonight, but he's not.
Not yet.
We'll get to that in a minute.
Not yet.
Lloyd Howell Jr., who I can't say I knew much about.
Me either.
He's now the former NFL Players Association leader. He resigned after an outside investigator hired by the union received documents this week showing Howell charged the union for 2 visits to strip clubs, including $738.82 for a car service that took him from the airport to one of the clubs.
Who do you think he is? Richard Pitino?
Well, even Richard didn't do that.
Well, not the burlesque part. I meant the car part.
The car part. Yeah. He lived in Miami, Sunny Isles Beach, it sounds like. I guess Tootsie's Cabaret, for the record, was the place where he went. But
they got good wings.
They might.
That's what I was told.
The best part about it is you've done an expense report before. I've done an expense report before. A lot of people have. You always have to give a reason, right, for what it is.
Supposedly.
You get the receipt, and here you go. According to the expense report, the purpose of the strip club outing, player engagement event to support and grow our union. That's how
he didn't go with that.
Player engagement event to support and grow our union.
That is very Royce White-like, isn't it?
That's why.
Right out of the playbook.
In Miami, I think, was the same place, right?
That's
where the campaign funds allegedly were going.
I thought there were charges of that he's got some conflict of interest issues based on some other businesses that he's involved in growing.
Yes.
I think isn't that part of the story?
He worked for a firm that
an equity firm, I think, wasn't it?
that basically invested in the NFL or gave money in the NFL.
Right.
Because everybody's
commenting
investing
on any of this so far?
I don't know if I've seen any quotes from him.
Yeah. Is he already deposed? Is he out?
He resigned.
He resigned. Okay,
yes.
He resigned. Okay.
He resigned because, a week or so ago, NFLPA and NFL concealed collusion findings, which is not good.
No,
not good. If I were a player, I would be pissed.
Yes.
I would be mad about all of this. So only time will tell Davey on exactly what's going on.
And I think fundamentally those are the issues that were going to undermine his credibility more than these are kind of funny.
Right.
And maybe a little bit unprofessional. But it's the other stuff that makes it a lot worse. So
player engagement.
To
grow our union.
Yeah, there you go. Well,
maybe he did. Maybe he took some players.
I was going to say, and maybe he got 3 or 4 players who signed up for some stuff that they wouldn't have otherwise. because they enjoy the experience so much.
It's never ever boring. It's good to be on top, until you get caught. It's good to be on top. Twins, not on top. They are second place in the American League Central, but we know they are buried in the standings because Detroit is running away with the division. And as I pull up the wild card standings, just for the record, as everybody kicks off the post-All-Star break portion of the season, the Twins are 4 games back of the final wild card spot. Seattle currently holds that. They're also behind Texas and Tampa Bay. Lavelle's been saying the last couple of weeks, you've got an opportunity to make a little bit of a run here. It can only, in my opinion, be this series that he's talking about because it's the Colorado Rockies in Denver tonight, and Chris Paddock is on the mound opposing Kyle Freeland. But after this, they go to Los Angeles to take on the wagon that is the Dodgers. They've got Boston coming up. It's not exactly the easiest schedule coming out of the break after this series, but they've got to make some magic happen here quickly because they're in a not a great spot at the moment.
They are, in fact, tied for the 9th best record in the American League.
Remember when we were like 3rd?
Yeah.
Like 2 months ago?
And again, wild card, they're not out of it, but when you put it in those terms, tied for 9th best record, you go, okay, we're happy for you. Why are we even bothering with this nonsense? But Lavelle will tell us we have to play the thing out. Pablo Torre, I think there's no S. It's T-O-R-E.
Pablo Torre. That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. So anyway.
I just wanted to get that for the record. Yeah, so we're back, and again, we'll see. I mean, I honestly don't think there's any chance they're going to add considerably, regardless of whether they even get hot again or stay hot. I think the larger question is if they fade, will they be much of a tendency to move on a couple players? If because again, some of the relief pitchers the Twins have would be valuable to contenders. And presumably would have, you might be able to get a decent return. So that's really what the next 2 weeks are about for the Twins. That and I guess Buxton continuing to try to dominate.
Scotty Scheffler's been in the news a lot this week. We talk about it on Enough Said tonight on Fox 9. Spend a lot of time about his comments about
what price glory,
and
basically.
So I'm wondering, as his head hit the pillow tonight, did he give himself a moment? Because he had himself a day at one of your favorite courses, Royal Portrush Golf Club.
I love that course.
In Northern Ireland. 64 today, 7 under par, 8 birdies. Man. He is now the leader. I watched him birdie, I think 4 before I got in the car to go to Fox. And he just went on a run. And now he is the leader into the weekend at 10 under par, 1 shot ahead of Matt Fitzpatrick and a couple of golfers at 8 under. Rory McIlroy, Ireland's native son, is tied for 12th at 3 under. Give you anybody else. Tony Finau is 4 under. And a host of others, as we like to say. But Scotty Scheffler, who I guess had fun and maybe felt good for about 10 minutes, and now has to go and do it all over again on the weekend in Northern Ireland.
When's the last time Lumpy played in the Open?
I could probably find out.
Kind of curious.
I'm guessing
been a while?
15 years ago.
15 years ago, yeah.
Don't you think? We last heard from Lumpy when he was on the senior tour.
Well, it's Lumpy.
And he's not on that anymore, correct?
I haven't heard about him.
Does the senior tour still exist?
Oh, yeah.
I don't hear. I feel like I haven't heard much about it this year. Is it different dates or a different time part of the summer?
Yeah, it's different. And, the summer, we're kind of in the summer meat grinder now.
That's true.
You know what the big rumor is here in the next year or two? The Tiger's going to play.
We're going to get an expansion franchise in the senior league? Oh.
No. That Tiger's going to play.
Really?
Yeah,
in the senior league.
Yes,
why wouldn't he? That wouldn't shock me at all. Now.
Yeah, and 8-9 years ago,
he wouldn't. He would have laughed at it. He would have mocked it and looked down upon it. But things change.
I think I saw some quotes from Steve Stricker last year.
Yeah. Well,
basically saying like when he turns 50 and he's healthy, he might be 50. I don't even know.
Well, it's got to come down to the health part. How healthy is he at this point?
That's it. But it'd be great for him because I think he still play 3 rounds. And he could just go out there and
better that than playing into that studio thing that whatever they call that. What's that called?
Studio I can't remember what they call it. But I didn't mind that.
It's okay.
It was something to do.
I think seniors a little better than that though.
Next week, the 3M Open is here. Want to remind people the 3M Open is here. Lumpy not playing that. He might have the first year though. I can't remember. So everything will be originating. Tee to Green's there this weekend. Tee to Green's there next weekend. The TPC at Blaine. Blaine caught a stray. Somebody took a picture, one of the aerial shots of Royal Portrush Golf Club. It's right on the water there. It looks really cool. And they said, Imagine playing this, and then next week you're in Minneapolis.
Wow.
I didn't like that.
That is a shot.
I didn't like that. First of all, don't speak ill of Blaine and Minnesota in general. I don't feel like we rallied around that enough, but that's just me.
That's you. You've always been a Blaine purist.
Yeah.
Despite your
sorry we're not royal portraish.
Yeah.
You know, sorry that we're not.
People are going to see right through this. You're not fooling anybody. You don't care about Blaine. You're trying to play down your Edina arrogance and say, "Oh no, I'm Blaine. I love Blaine."
Cap, as the kids would say.
Cap.
Cap.
Yeah, that's it.
I think that's pretty much all I got here.
You sure?
Yeah, I don't think...
That's like 2.5 items.
It was. I mean...
Is it that thin?
It's pretty thin. I mean, the WNBA had some CBA talks at the All-Star game in Indy. No Caitlin Clark.
I mean, that's ugly, apparently.
It's very ugly.
The union sent out a scathing letter
Yes.
saying you're not listening to what we said needs to be different. I have a feeling that has a chance to get very bloody.
I agree.
I really do. And then there's that question, how far you want to go.
They're going to like Caitlin. They're going to like Caitlin Clark then, by the way.
She's not playing in anything, right?
Correct.
She's not in a three-point contest. She's not in the game.
Correct.
She's all done for how long? Do we know how long she's out?
I don't, but I mean, it's the groin again.
Yeah.
Like, she's been banged up pretty much all season.
And then it's the stretch run of the back half of the WNBA
where the Lynx have
28-4. Is that our record?
Yeah, by multiple games, the best team.
Did you and I talk about the most stunning Caitlin Clark statistic of all time?
No.
On the road, she has taken, in 2025, this season, she has taken 35 three-pointers. She has made 2.
Really?
She is 2 for 30. That's hard to do.
Yeah, you're right.
Now, at home, much better, but her road shooting, I can't do that percentage. It's so low, but 2 for 35 on threes on the road. That's going to have to get a little bit better.
She hadn't played great coming off of the 2 injuries.
No, she hadn't. Her overall numbers are still creditable.
Yes.
But yeah, that I don't think she is, especially in terms of her shooting.
Right.
Her passing always seems to be pretty good, and her defense actually they say is improving. But I was stunned. And you know, it's another thing again that still bothers me about women's sports coverage. That stat was like buried in some story, and no one knew it because it was so buried. It's like, I'm a Caitlin Clark Bobo. You are too.
Yeah.
But you can't ignore stats like that. That's part of the story, right? Doesn't mean you cut her, but 2 for 35 is pretty stunning.
Dan and BigDeck.com want to give you a shot to win bonus bucks. Our final keyword of the week is bank. Go to KFAN.com and enter the keyword bank.
Don't forget Lavelle in about 15 minutes. We've got some news on the March stuff. We've got it's cabin season still, right?
Definitely.
It's lake season still, right?
Yes.
We've got a story related to both of those things out of the great state of Wisconsin that I guess could also apply as a Dairyland diary. Stay tuned.
Get ready to laugh out loud. Gabriel Iglesias is bringing his comedy tour to Treasure Island Resort and Casino live September 6th and 7th. Don't miss your chance to see one of the world's funniest comedians. Tickets available today at TICasino.com.
For another installment of Dairyland Diaries.
You know what training camp being right around the corner means? The return of Carl Gerbschmidt.
Crazy, right?
It's hard to believe it's right around the corner as well. It's insane. Dateline, Land O'Lakes, Wisconsin.
Land O'Lakes.
Correct.
Right near the Dells.
Extreme, I think it's one exit off the Dells.
Yeah.
Keith Montgomery was standing on the public pier of a glacial lake here in Land O'Lakes when he saw a boat cruising along the shore so slowly that he didn't think it would kick up a wake. Instead, it sent a wave barreling toward a pontoon boat tied up at a dock nearby. A man on board clung to the railing to avoid falling backward and a woman on the dock tried to stabilize the craft as it bounced from below her knees to her waist.
You can't talk that way and be taken seriously.
He was holding on for dear life, said Montgomery, a 68-year-old retired college administrator and president of the Black Oak Lake Preservation Foundation, who spoke out to support a ban on boats making extra big wakes in the town of 950. Speedboats designed to produce a wave so tall that a person can surf without a rope are rocking waters across Wisconsin and beyond. Pontoon riders tell tales of spilled wine, flying milkshakes, and quiet cruises descending into chaos. Kayakers and paddleboarders have been traumatized. Opponents say the boats, which can cost over $100,000 and are sometimes called the monster trucks of lake life, are eroding shores and damaging lake bottoms. Bottom line, in Wisconsin, around 60 municipalities, including Land O'Lakes, have banned the boats from using their full wake-enhancing mode, according to the Last Wilderness Alliance. Scott, a town near Green Bay, Wisconsin, is facing a lawsuit by 3 property owners who call the ordinance vague, overbroad, and illegal. I have to believe if this is happening in Wisconsin, it's happening all over our great 10,000 lakes of Minnesota as well, don't you think?
Probably. Yeah, probably.
I need help from the
boat community.
Pontoon boat community,
the
I
lake
guess.
community.
And how bad, how obnoxious this is getting. How much of a battle. Is this tearing lake families apart?
I bet it is.
You know, neighbor and neighbor. Because some neighbors are this is fun, man. We love all this stuff. The bigger the wake, the better. Meanwhile, you got people falling off the edge of a cliff.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm fascinated by this kind of summer controversy now that, and we only got a few more weeks probably for when this story makes sense, because before you know it, we know at the fall the leaves will be turning.
We'll be talking about snow.
That's
and
it.
We'll be naming our first Snownami.
That's exactly
Snownami
right.
J-Mac. Snownami J-Mac.
You hope.
After they start 5-0.
You certainly hope.
Going into the bye. It is, you do wonder, because there are some lakes that don't allow any type of real motorcraft where to prevent stuff like that, right? And
Correct.
I got to say, it's nice to be on those lakes when you can just, obviously, if you want to wake,
peaceful.
If you want to wakeboard or if you want to, ski, obviously you're going to need a little bit more, and that's not the lake for you. But if you are just into the leisurely ride, the pontoon, whatever it is nice. And your kids can just go swim wherever, and someone's not going to be zipping around. But there have to be room for all of them. Like, there's got to be spots for everybody, because these boats are very popular and people like to use them for the sporting activities. So I'm sure this is a problem in a lot of lakes.
It's real, right? 612 guy. The wake/surfboat terrorists are on Minnetonka, and the boats are 250,000 K kicking up Hawaii-sized waves. As a fisherman, water sport people are the worst. Dan, $100,000 will barely get you an entry-level wake boat.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Land O'Lakes is north of Eagle River in far northern
Dells,
Wisconsin.
Oh,
apparently. So there you have it. First banning pickleball and now banning wavecraft. It's got to be tricky because, as you say, different people are looking for different kinds of nourishment
experiences
from your average lake.
Definitely.
But the problem is, I still think that I'm going to support the anti-wake terrorists, or I should say I'm going to be against the wake terrorists, because by definition, if they get their way to too great a degree, they are taking away too much of the other experience. By definition, if they do what they do, too many others are affected. You know what I'm saying? It would seem to me.
Yes.
So I don't know what the middle ground, I don't even know if there is such a thing as a middle ground in that environment, but I'd say, I get, no, who says, I want, it's my lake too.
Right.
But if you're if the activities on your lake disrupt the possibility of many other people enjoying their activities, then I think it's got to go. But is it easier said than done in terms of policing, in terms of how you punish, hold people accountable, etc.?
I think, and a lot of times, like I say, some lakes have different rules that are. A lot of times there'll be like lake associations, like even where Shady Oak Beach is in Minnetonka. There's a bunch of houses on there. You can't have a boat with more than like a 5 horsepower motor. And I learned that Googling it while our kids were playing at the beach. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Like, let's see. It's not a very big lake, but there's boats here. What's allowed? And you can get, little mini motors and stuff to putt around out there. But the boats we're talking about here, they seem extremely excessive in general. It wouldn't be my thing. And I know, we'll get them man up.
Well, yeah, but again, that's a flawed bit of logic if by definition you manning up ends up affecting a bunch of other people because
I agree.
Of what it does to the action on the rest of the lake. I mean, the texts are pouring in. I've lived on a lake in northern Minnesota for 22 years. These boats drive me and almost everybody I know crazy. The waves they create are absolutely destroying shoreline. And maybe that's the peg. Maybe that's the strategy that's most persuasive. They can single-handedly ruin an entire large section of any lake. Then it can't happen. I would say then it's over. If you could say, well, it's just affecting that side and no one else is really bothered by it, maybe you get away with it. But if your activity utterly and completely alters the activity for dozens of other groups, then I'd say go to find the nearest ocean. Move somewhere to a coast
or get a smaller boat.
Or get a smaller boat, which no one wants a smaller boat, right? Nobody wants a smaller truck. No one wants a smaller boat. Mm-hmm. The whole bit. They're called wake boats. I live on Horseshoe Lake in Richmond, Wisconsin.
Near the Dells.
They are a menace. That's from Wonder Horse. That's his sponiker. Wonder Horse.
I like it. Just ask him. Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right. I was almost thrown out of my fishing boat yesterday morning by a wake boat. They make 3-foot tall waves.
That's wild.
They do not understand how much that affects other boats, and it's a huge shoreline erosion issue as well. Big problem. And many lake communities and other boaters are calling for a ban. I'm a big believer in, I'm a pretty libertarian guy, but again, if your libertarian act intrudes on that many others, then sorry, it's a shame anybody has to lose, but I'd say realistically you have to lose. And it has nothing to do with being man up, it has nothing to do with being macho. It has to do with, your act affects others to that degree, and it sounds like over and over again that it is, then it's tough. I'm sorry. You got to go, like I said, find the Pacific Ocean, find the Atlantic.
With our luck,
Gulf of Mexico.
We'd get invited on Mason's boat
and get nailed.
And we'd be pitched off by one of these boats.
Yeah. That would be our perfect luck.
You and I'd be hanging on to an inner tube on Lake Minnetonka.
Let's check in with a man on the water as we speak. He's at a lake compound location. Lavelle Neal III will give us details now. Sandy Lake, should say Big Sandy Lake in McGregor. Lavelle Neal III now joins us via the Connecticut Water Systems hotline. You sent out a photo a while ago, and it looks like a nice view. Looks like a railing, a table, and Big Sandy Lake in the background. Overcast at the time of this photo. Does it remain overcast in your location?
It is. Actually, it was drizzling a little bit. It wasn't enough to annoy me, but then it started raining a little bit about 10 minutes ago, so I had to go stand under the overhang. But then it stopped, so now I'm back out on the deck.
And this is a regular visit for you each and every year?
Well, it's been delayed because of a couple, instances, just because of people being available. But this is my third time at this place. I'd like to thank the Peterson family for allowing us to borrow their cabin for this weekend. So, and I don't know how often you've been up north for cabins. I'm sure Gaardsy been up about a bunch of times because he's one of those Edina people who end up doing these things. I'm sure he probably owns a cabin for all we know.
How many strays? How many strays? Just keep going.
So,
if I owned a cabin, I wouldn't let you borrow it after that diatribe.
Do you know these people?
Yeah, okay.
Do the people?
No, but you know how it is here.
I do. I know.
People come up and act like they're back in high school.
Yeah, but here's my question to you: do you know? Do the people? Do you have permission to use the cabin that you're using right now this weekend?
Absolutely.
Oh,
yeah, I met the Peterson family.
Okay.
They're relatives of a good friend of mine named Brian Nelson.
Okay.
Who's a mortgage broker for Bell Bank, and his partner Angie is one of the more successful real estate agents in town.
Right.
And so we're all up here this week enjoying the view and just bunkering down with a bunch of alcohol to act like we're back in college.
How many of you are there? Like 20, or what is this?
No, it's just 6. And my brother is joining me for the last. This is the third time he's joined me. My sister moved in a year ago
6
with
plus
us.
your brother.
She's taking her time buying a house, but she's here for the first time. So she's getting Minnesota cabin life for the first time.
So 7 plus your brother.
No, total of 6.
Oh, total of 6. Okay. Are you guys going to be like?
We're in a guest shack.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because I do have a guest shack here, but it's right by the water. It's great. They got a couple boats. I don't know if we're going to take the boats out this time. We took a pontoon out 2 years ago, and it was going great. And we have a Shih Tzu. They own a Shih Tzu named
Excuse me?
Baxter. Shih Tzu.
Oh, the dog.
Just say dog.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's be safe.
His name's Baxter. He's a little tiny dog, and so we started hitting some big waves, and poor Baxter got destroyed by a big wave. And so I don't think we're taking the boat out this time.
Yeah, we were just talking about big waves, that there's these massive wake boats that are driving people crazy.
And by the way, earlier in this week, you were talking about the whole dog thing. The owners of Baxter, actually parents, because they treat Baxter like he's a family member. Mm-hmm. He sleeps in their bed all the time.
I got no problem with that.
That is a growing deal here with people and their dogs.
Oh, there's no question.
You have dogs sleeping in the bed with their parents or their owners, and you have dogs eating people food. I know someone was upset about you should not treat dogs like they're human beings, but there are some people who care for their dogs like they're human beings, and that's not a bad thing.
So, what's the average cabin experience weekend like for Lavelle? Is it a lot of stogies, some boozing, a little bit of feed bag, making something on the grill, fishing, swimming, boating, or just kind of staying in the shack and just hanging out?
Well, other than the swimming, because I don't swim, everything else is in play. There's boating, there's superfluous eating and superfluous drinking. In fact, we're in pregame mode right now. We just had the charcuterie board out with all kinds of snacks and cheeses and meats and crackers and dips, and we're chowing down on that. But we're going to have a big taco fest later on.
Any pastrami?
We've got biscuits and gravy tomorrow, and we're grilling tomorrow evening. And then we come back on Sunday, and it's just a time for us to hang out, enjoy each other's company, and enjoy copious amounts of alcohol.
Well, you strike me as someone that in a decently large group like that you get along fine. Is that true, or is it? Can it get a little bit annoying, intense? You're on top of each other in a way that you sort of have to, kind of try to create some space every once in a while?
Oh, they're mad at me. Oh, they're mad.
Why?
They've been mad at me through the years because a couple years ago, I have a buddy who actually has his parents have a lake home on the other side of Big Sandy. So I left one Saturday morning just to go over to his place and smoke a cigar, and they had a fit about that because I was gone for like 5 hours. Why are you leaving us? Blah, blah. And then 2 years ago, I was standing out in front of the cabin, and there's a cabin across the street, and I was playing some music, and hey, great song. I was like, hey, thanks a lot for listening. And all of a sudden, someone said, wait a minute, I recognize the place. You're Lavelle Neal. And so then it started this exchange between the two groups. And my friends were mad because they walked over and hung out for an hour, and apparently they got eaten by like 75 mosquitoes while they were walking back, and so they're mad at me about that. So I use that as entertainment instead of feeling guilty. I just laugh at the fact that they're mad because they had to walk across the road and get chewed up by mosquitoes.
Yeah. Is it is it a packed lake? In other words, do you have some privacy, or are there cabins right on either side of you? How's that work?
Yeah, there's cabins on each side of me. I'm looking at all kinds of boat slips. They're all over the place here.
Right.
There were a couple of years ago, there was a party going on in the other side of the lake, and we just kept hearing yelling and oohing and awing. I was like, I can only imagine what's going on there, So, but that's what people do when they come up to these cabins, man. They act like they're back in college, and they just party down and they just fall asleep in the same place, wake up, shake off the hangover, and eventually drive home on Sunday.
Yeah. Are you guys going to play any Parcheesi or any board games or anything like that?
There's a cribbage game here, but we usually do movies. We usually sit together, do movies, and drink. And here's the funny part: they got mad at me 3 years ago because I had never seen the other guys. They're like, "You've never seen the other guys? You gotta be kidding me!" So I'm like, "Whatever." So I'm sitting out on the deck. I'm smoking a cigar, and they got the movie playing. And have you seen the other guys?
I have not.
That was Will Ferrell?
I have not seen that film.
Yes, and Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's not a classic. I don't know why they'd be mad at you for that.
It shouldn't be something you have to apologize for.
They got mad because I'd never seen any of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. So they were mad about that. But I was sitting on the back, and they got the other guys playing, and there was a scene where, and you've seen the scene where Samuel L. Jackson and The Rock jump off the top of the building. So I looked at that, I started screaming, "Oh, hell no!" So now I went in and watched the rest of the movie. So stuff like I said, it's people it's like-minded people, like spending time with each other, doing stupid crap, and just enjoying each other's company. That's what it's all about.
Any stag films?
No stag films at all. No, this is a mixed group. We equal number of women to men, especially since my sister's here. So it doesn't get that type of raunchy.
That's okay. That works. Now, if you're smart, what you do is you find a way to get invited to Louis' cabin compound, because like an auxiliary shack on Louis' compound is, I don't know, I think it's about 4,000 square feet, 6 bedrooms.
Nicely finished. And
a pickleball court right in the middle of it. So
when I was writing my book, I borrowed a couple of people's cabins. One was in Park Rapids. One was in somewhere in Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. And the one in Wisconsin was ridiculous. It was like a multi-million-dollar place right off the lake, and it was just beautiful. And I was scared to walk across the living room in fear I was going to knock something valuable over and break it, but it served a purpose. I was able to hunker down for a week at each cabin and just pound out 3 or 4 chapters, and It served a purpose for franchise, The History of the Minnesota Twins, which is still available on Amazon.
You can still get it.
You still get it.
It's still for sale. Minnesota Twins are still for sale as far as we know. What did you make of the?
What a connection there.
What was your reaction? The commissioner addressed it and said, "Hey, look, I know more than you guys do, and it's moving along, and everything's fine, and that sale is going to be taken care of." Did that reassure you, or do you still want to see it to believe it?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question. Tuesday was a very interesting day, and I mentioned this on the Chin Music podcast with me and Sue Han and Roy Smalley, that, Tuesday morning I made a call because I hadn't heard anything for a while, so I made a call in that regard and got some information. And then Manfred's comments came out, and that led me to making 3 other calls. And I'm confident that they will identify the new future owner by the end of the regular season, and maybe a transaction done by the end of the year. I think I've talked to you about this on the station before, about how they've had problems trying to find a lead dog. They've had people who were able to, I'm in for 20%, I'm in for 30%, but they need the main guy. And what I'm hearing is that the anchor investor has emerged, and now there's conversations and movement in the right direction. Does that mean it's going to be finalized? It could go haywire. This person does not want reveal himself, because just in case it doesn't work out, then he doesn't want to be known that he was part of the process. But I'm just going to say right now that there's positive momentum to getting this thing figured out.
Do you know who it is?
I do not know who it is.
Will there be a local component, even if the majority person or consortium is from out of town?
Absolutely. There'll be absolutely a local component. That is a lock for that. I had another conversation. I can't remember if I mentioned this. I had another conversation with someone who knew a person who actually had direct conversation with Jordan Ishbia. And the person got off the phone with Ishbia was just so fired up because he was ready to invest in the team. He wanted to make sure that the farm system was going to be as strong as possible and then fill in the blanks with free agent signings. And the person came away thinking that this is the guy that the Twins need at this moment to drive the franchise forward. But he, of course, ended up pivoting toward the White Sox, where he increases shares from, I believe, from 5% to 35%. And we're looking back at this thinking that maybe he threw that out there just to get the White Sox to move on it, because he already owned 5%. And Ishbia's got an office in Chicago. So I think he just put himself in the jet stream to replace Jerry Reinsdorf as the owner of the White Sox. And I think that revealing himself at that moment was just a ploy to get him to that spot, which is very disappointing. Once again, Minnesota being used for someone else, because this goes back to when they were trying to build Metropolitan Stadium and trying to get a team there. And a bunch of teams in the league used we're going to move to Minnesota because they new stadium. We have a new stadium. Improve our agreement. And that happened 2 or 3 times. So it actually delayed the arrival of the Twins franchise because other teams just used the Twins as leverage. So once again, in this case, it looks like the Twins are being used as leverage. Well, and it stinks, but it's reality of business.
The part that still kind of bewilders me, I'm still not sure I understand. I know Ishbia is building, he's got all kinds of Chicago connections, but there's a part of me that says if you're an Ishbia, they're very impatient billionaires. And I'm thinking, well, would you rather have, I get it, you'd rather have, all things being equal, control of the White Sox over the Twins because of the town that you're associated with already. But as I understand it, the White Sox thing, it might even be like the A-Rod Laurie thing. It's going to take years, as long as until Jerry Reinsdorf, I think he has 2 or 3 years to where he can kind of continue to be the majority guy unless he wants to move it up. Whereas here, they could have had the whole kit and caboodle immediately. You know what I'm saying? That's the part that I guess I still don't understand.
No, that's fair, and I can only speak from the stuff I've been told. But Ishbia, he did due diligence here. He checked in with business leaders. He looked into other business opportunities in town. He wanted to check out the political landscape in terms of how it would take to navigate through the legislature to get some of the things he wanted to build on the side agreed upon. He checked on the post George Floyd climate.
Does he want a new ballpark? Target Field's not that old.
No, but I think he just wanted to have other business opportunities. Look what Zeke the Wolves did out in Egan.
Right.
They found a place where they could build a hotel and build the Tria Center, where I had to have an MRI there. And they were able to expand. The owners are looking for that type of stuff now. Right. That's the way things are going now. Yeah. So I think he was doing his due diligence, and that group definitely would have had. I wish I could tell you who, but that definitely would have had local people connected. It would have been local popular sports figures involved as well.
All right, so you're saying by the end of the calendar year, you think it's likely there'll be an ownership change. In the meantime, what do you think the current environment does regarding what the Twins do between now and the deadline? I bring this up because we had Gleeman in studio, and I thought he made an interesting point that if you are running the baseball operation, presumably you want to try to keep your job even when ownership change takes place. Now, sometimes that's impossible, but sometimes you have a chance depending on how you do. And the theory he was advancing was, well, if you're Falvey and you're trying to hold on to your job, doesn't it make it even less likely that you're going to want to trade off assets right now if you're trying to give the prospective new owner as much of an opportunity to keep you because you want the team to still try to be somewhat viable and not necessarily just be about the future. Do you think that the ownership, situation being kind of the cloud over this whole thing has any impact or will have any impact on which direction the Twins go before the deadline?
That's a great question. I have not gotten any indications that any moves that they're going to make over the next few weeks are tied to the fact that the team may be sold. I think they're still trying to operate as normal. And right now, 4 games out of the wild card spot, I think they're more looking forward to trying to get into the wild card spot. But I don't know what they're going to add. And that's a great question. Do they want to just add and say, screw the payroll because they're going to be sold? Let's add on, this and this and this. I haven't heard any indications about that. And I sense that they will make moves. I think they're just going to operate as if they're still in charge for the long term and try to do what's best for the organization. But it's going to be very interesting here because if the Twins flounder over the next 2 weeks, they can go in sell mode. And I will tell you now, the Phillies' best talent evaluator, former Major League pitcher Charlie Kerfeld, sat on this team for a week last week. He was here for 6 days last week. And he's sitting on Joe Ryan, and he's sitting on Griffin Jackson, maybe Danny Clune, So they're all positioning themselves to strike. There's rumors about trading Joe Ryan, which I think Joe Ryan's part of the solution instead of the problem here. I think they should keep him. But if I'm Falvey, if someone wants to overpay and someone calls and asks about Joe Ryan, my first word is going to be overpay. And then my second word is going to be overpay plus another player. You know what I'm saying? To move Joe Ryan with 2 years of control.
Correct.
He's making $3 million this year. You sell high. The Twins have rarely been in a position where they can sell high from people. They've sold low, and they've paid the price for that. All right? So you would sell high on Ryan. I would sell high on Duran. I still, even though his numbers are weird, I would sell high on Jax. I would not just move players just for the sake of moving players and getting assets back just because you're not worried about the future. But these guys are coveted. So I think you have to ask for more. And if you don't get what you want, then you just move on and stick what you got because 10 games, 2 weeks of strong play, they can be 2 games out of the wild card spot, and then you're in it. So they have to look at it from that aspect.
Texter asks, I think, a pretty easy question to answer. Are the Twins stuck with Correa until he retires? The answer to that is yes, isn't it, at this point?
Carlos Correa is making $192,000 a day. Okay. He is a 0.1 player. Who is going to trade for Correa and with the Twins getting value back? I just don't see it. I just don't see how. If Correa was like, okay, you're trading me where? You're trading me to the Dodgers? Are you trading me to someone that needs a shortstop or maybe a third baseman? Although I think he'd be terribly miscast as a third baseman. For him to waive the no trade contract clause means 2 things. In most cases, Dan, if a player is waiving his no trade, that means he's getting an extension or he's getting more money.
Right.
Is someone willing to do that with Correa, given his current state of production? I don't see it. So I think the Twins are going to have to keep Correa through the cycle. Once again, I think no trade's better than a trade. Moving Correa and his contract, yeah, you get the money off the books because I think that's one of the reasons they're $400 million in the red because of the I think they paid him like $100 million in salary already. But still, you want to get something back. And is it just are you just satisfied or just moving the salary? Even if you get a little back, I just can't see that.
Well, I kind of think the current ownership would be perfectly delighted because they want to save the money. My guess is a new owner would think the way you do, which is you got to try to get something back. Then again, you look at how much they owe and the production, and you go, well, if you could just, you can make the argument that just getting him off your books is worth it because he just doesn't look like, unless there's some belief that he's got a second, act where he can kind of rejuvenate and go back to being closer to the Correa we remember from back in the day, right? You could say, well, because you named him. I mean, look how much money they still owe him, and he's got a full no trade, correct?
Correct. So does Buxton, by the way.
Yes, which he brought up when his name came up as well. Not surprising at all. All right. Well, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna let you enjoy your cabin time. I'm hoping it has the therapeutic effect you were looking for. Are there any locations near where you are that include a darkness retreat as part of the weekend?
I don't know if there's darkness retreats in Minnesota. I think darkness being by a lake with no lights is probably the best you're going to get. And to be honest with you, that's not a bad thing. I've sat out here with just a fireplace and a cigar and a beverage at 2 o'clock in the morning, just enjoying the silence.
Nothing wrong with that.
I am down for that and enjoy those moments. And this slingshots me into next week because I'm on vacation next week.
Man.
And I will be in Vegas next week. And I actually extended my stay so I could show up at Gopher Football Media Day on Wednesday to listen to PJ Fleck talk.
Yeah,
so I'm going to try to pick up a column out of that for a future date. So Gaardsy's going to see me next week, and Grimm's going to see me next week, and all the other scribes are going to be out there. So it's going to be a joyous occasion. Although Gaardsy's mad at me because I can't make dinner because I have to go talk to my benefactor that evening. So he was all over me about that. But and here's try not to draw this out any longer, but I spent a chunk of my career driving to the Metrodome on a glorious Saturday afternoon to cover a night game. And I got friends calling me from cabins going, I wish you were here, wish you were here. I got to the point where, you know what? I want to be there. So now I'm taking advantage of these moments here.
You should.
So I hope you don't blame me for this. I'm very comfortable where I'm at right now. I'm happy. And I turned 60 in September, so I'm going to celebrate the fact that I've existed this long. And there'll be more visits and celebrations to come.
Do your friends, the people you're cabining with, are they offended or bothered by your cigar smoke?
Only one smokes cigars. The three ladies in the group definitely don't, and they keep the screens closed when I'm sitting on the deck, which I'm doing now.
Okay.
They've closed the screen so the smoke doesn't come into the cabin, and I don't care. I am perfectly happy where I'm at. I enjoy it. It's weird because I like being social, but I like in solitude as well. That makes me weird.
Final question. Will you be doing any spelunking this weekend? Any spelunking?
No spelunking would be involved this week.
Right.
It's just to have a couple of great meals, enjoy people's company, smoke a couple of cigars, and then get ready for my Vegas trip on Tuesday.
Yeah, right around the corner, right? So next week you would be talking to us from there?
Absolutely. And let's see, that'll be 3 o'clock in the afternoon, my time. Yes, I'll be able to do that on a Friday.
Will you be staying at Caesars?
No, I'll be at Planet Hollywood, where my close personal friend, Dave Windjam, is the senior casino host. So he's been a very good host.
Nice.
So I'm looking forward to spending time with him and his wife and his family. Because they've been good to me. He's been good to me every time I come to Vegas. PA knows that as well. So that's the plan. So
it's good to be Lavelle.
These are moments that I have avoided because I had blinders on about covering the Twins.
Yeah.
I have left PTO on my books like 2-3 weeks of every year. And I told myself, I got to stop doing that. So these are the times that I'm going to take advantage.
Interesting.
This is an extremely reflective Lavelle Neal III appearance.
There's got to be another shoe that's
Are you retiring? Are you announcing your retirement right now? It seems like you're riding off into the sunset here and reflecting on a job well done.
Well, like I said, I turned 60 in September, and
That's wild to me, by the way.
A time of reflection, and it's a time of celebration because I've survived this long. I think this is a great thing. I turned 60. I'm still around. So I'm going to enjoy this.
Hey, might as well, yeah. Yeah, you're not going to write any poetry this weekend, are you?
Maybe limericks?
Limericks, yeah. I can see. Yeah. A couple of baudy.
Yeah, I was going to say
limericks.
Follow
at
Lavelle Neal on Twitter for drunken limericks later tonight.
Yeah. No. I'm gonna let the president. I'm gonna let the president take care of all the body notes.
That's for sure. Have fun in the lake, man. We'll chat from Vegas next week.
You didn't ask me what I wrote about for Sunday.
Oh, what did you write about for Sunday? I figured you were off. You're making it sound like you're off for like another month.
I wrote and I had a sentence in my 3-2 pitch for Sunday apologizing to Cody Clemens.
You're finally doing it. You finally are going to curling up in the fetal position, huh? Well done.
I'm not curling up. I'm more dropping to my knees and doing the I'm not worthy thing to Cody Clemens. Because he's the second best position player in the Twins right now.
Took a while, but you're finally there. Yeah. And I'm glad you're acknowledging it. That's good. It takes a bigger man to do so.
I am a bigger man to do that.
Happy spelunking.
No chance of that.
All right, thank you. Lavelle Neal III, kind enough to join us on this Friday evening.
That felt like John Millay talking about his retirement.
Very, very. It was almost like Fan Outdoors, reflective, low-key, just taking in all the sights and sounds of Minnesota Lake Country.
He was talking about the Twins ownership, and then he said, but I'm going to take my PTO, Dan, and I'm going to take my cabin weekends. That was strange, but I liked it. Nate Bargatze's bringing 2 nights of laughs to XL Energy Center. Don't miss out on the hilarity when he takes the stage on Saturday, July 26th and Sunday, July 27th with the Big Dumb Eyes World Tour. Limited tickets still available. Get all the details at KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
Little less now than a half hour of today's program. Gaardsy was off on yesterday's show.
You on the mark.
Let me start News on the March by revisiting a story that we had some fun with on Wednesday's show. I think this is when it broke because Kessler was here. You were off that day too. You worked 9 to noon, and I'm trying to find out whether any significant changes have been made to the prices on food items at the citywide DFL convention. This has to do with the mayoral race in the city of Minneapolis.
I saw some highlights on this.
Target Center is the location. That's tomorrow. And the story that got a lot of attention is that if you wanted a pastrami sandwich, it was going to cost you $70. $60 for what is described as a schnitzel sandwich. We had to look that up.
Yeah.
And then you want a chicken kebab, it's going to be $55.
What are we doing?
Well, it is instructive because as soon as this story hit, I think some of the Dems realized they had a problem. Conceptually, symbolically, right? It's like, exactly. What are we doing? What's sad, though, is they didn't know it on their own.
Totally.
What's sad is that it had to be brought to them, which in of itself is instructive, as I said. And the best part to me was in the ongoing effort to kind of blunt the savagery and the mocking of this whole thing. And Star Tribune had a great story on it, basically saying, well, let's see here. We got a number of candidates who will be making a big deal about their socialist bona fides, and yet when it comes to the kosher and halal food prices, everything will be rather dramatically capitalistic. But the best word salad was that the DFL said a limited number of kosher and halal meals would be provided by the party at, quote, a sliding scale price. What does that even mean?
Right. Other
than let's just try to do damage control and it'll sound like we're trying to mitigate things. It's a convention to name the mayor. Put out some pre-made $4 hot dogs or make them $10 hot dogs, whatever the case may be. If your whole bit symbolically is we're of the people, we're not stuffy, we're not elitist, we don't need, it's a one-day convention. Just put out a bunch of bags of Doritos, for God's sake. Just keep it basic. But they couldn't. And now, like I said, they're coming up with all these excuses like this nonsense about a sliding scale price, which no one even understands what the hell that means.
What do they call it with tickets? It's like the dynamic ticket model.
That's what A-Rod's going for.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll sell the expensive games for a lot of money, and then demand changes it, and then we're going to go up or down. That's pretty funny stuff. Must be good pastrami.
The DFL chair saying that the consternation over prices is absolutely justified, but we're helping people who need help. So what does that mean? You have to show your bona fides that you can't afford? Who can afford a $70 pastrami sandwich? Nobody should have to afford a $70 pastrami.
No.
Not even if it's the best pastrami sandwich in the world.
I'm trying to think of what I would need to know about that pastrami to make it worth $70 to say, I will give that a shot.
God, it's so bizarre. It's absolutely bizarre. And they so badly miss the point. There's another quote from the chair. There's no DFL markup on any of the food. This is what Target Center charges. Well, then you're back to then don't ask for it. Just no one. It's not a matter of whether you're making money off of it. It's that you have to. You're presumably you asked for it, right? Target Center didn't say, "Hey, we got a really good deal for you on some extra pastrami sandwiches.
You want a kebab?
Do you want a kebab? That's only $55. I mean, the pastrami's $70. You save $15 if you go with the kebab." The whole thing is just bizarre. So
maybe they have a food minimum at Target Center.
We definitely had some fun with that. One other news on the March review. So, we talked a lot with Craigers in the first hour of the show about the news that late night is done at CBS. Not just that
Colbert's gone.
Colbert's gone. It's the show is gone. Couple other analytics regarding the popularity of the show that needs to be, I think, clarified that we perhaps didn't emphasize enough earlier. So let's get a pause to stay on schedule. We'll wrap News on the March and the program up with more of that and a couple of your texts moving forward.
Show Wrap is presented by American Pressure, commercial-grade pressure washer since 1975.
It's the bumper-to-bumper Show Wrap.
A quick update on the Colbert story, which we discussed extensively with our 3 o'clock guest. If you missed our conversation with Craigers, he joined between 3 and 4 to talk about a new 30 for 30 podcast he is featured in quite heavily, and a number of other subjects covered. We got his reaction to the Colbert news and that CBS is canceling the whole late night franchise as well. His numbers are down. He is still, I believe, the most popular late night show.
Okay.
It's all, speaking of sliding scale, the scale is sliding. In the Atlantic this afternoon, what I read is CBS is losing $40 million on the show.
Wow.
But it is the most popular, has the best ratings among the late night shows. Some of this has to do with just there are fewer people watching late night in general. But there are, we talked about many tentacles to the program. I am not dancing on his grave or celebrating the cancellation. It'd been fine for me if you go out forever. My position's been pretty consistent over the years that my lack of interest watching him is that it's not that he's not allowed to have a political sensibility, that he has to, play it right down the middle so much as he never surprises you. And he eventually even, I think, got jolted and challenged on that very point by Comedy Central guy who Jon Stewart. When Stewart mocked him and got into the whole issue of whether that COVID-19 could have escaped from the lab. So that's my issue. I just need to be surprised a little bit more often. It's why I prefer sort of the Bill Maher wing. More than what he does. But the show, it's not like the show has no numbers compared to the others. The other late night shows. It's that the numbers have, in general, faded. Real quick here, we're reminded by our friend Ryan Kath out of Boston. You're about to hear audio from something in Twins history that happened 25 years ago today. 25 years.
35.
Excuse me, 30. 1990. Oh, it's right.
Yeah.
He said 25.
Kath had the bumper math.
I quoted his math. He's quoting our math. You're right. 35 years ago today.
Is that an homage to us?
It could be. Might have been on purpose. Dateline Boston, I think, right?
Fenway Park.
Fenway Park. Let's listen.
Third base. One there, two there, and a triple play. Holy mackerel. The Twins have just rolled off a triple play on a perfect ball for Gaardsy to do.
Bernansky hit that.
Our old friend Bruno.
Yeah.
And Gaardsy has one. They got two, and they've got another triple play. Mercy me, Gerald. And Mr. Morgan, the second time the Twins have started a triple play in this game.
How about that? And the bad news is we lost the game 1-0.
That's calendar of calamity.
We still lost. Yeah, two triple. I remember it now. Two triple plays in the same ball game at Fenway Park 35 years ago.
Gary Gaetti, the third baseman.
You're right. That's true.
Ken Herbeck.
Herbie at first.
Gagne was at short.
You're correct. I don't even know who was at second. Was it Lombo? The first? No.
It doesn't look like.
No, probably wouldn't be Lombo by then. Yeah, it's probably true.
Could it have been Numi?
It could have been Numi.
He was a utility guy,
what
right?
Year? So 35 years ago is what year?
1990.
1990. That wouldn't have been Tommy Herr, right? No, because Herr was 88. He was already gone by 90. Jeff Rebele?
Wasn't Rebele.
Wasn't Rebs. Tonight on...
Did anybody else call him Jeff Double A, or was that just my Uncle John?
Probably just your uncle, I'm guessing. Probably a few others.
Yeah, he wasn't a big Rebele fan.
Good defensive player, though.
Yeah.
He just couldn't hit, right, as I recall.
Yeah.
Enough Said is on Fox 9 Plus tonight at 7:30. We got a sports block, we got a toy department block, and then we got an A-section block as well. Heartily recommend you watch. You can also see it on Fox 9 at 9:30 tonight. The Plus, 7:30, Fox 9 at 9:30. You can also get it via Fox Local, an app that is, I believe, just like iHeartRadio's app, free. Everybody indeed wants something for free.
Fred Manrique?
Freddie Manrique, you say?
Yeah.
Huh?
He was the second baseman that night.
Okay.
I had to look it up.
On both double plays?
I think so. Yeah, Baseball Reference. I had to look up the box score. It was bothering me.
And Gags was at short?
Gags was at short.
Okay, and Herbie.
Shane Mack, Dazzleman, Brian Harper.
Yeah.
Junior Ortiz.
I don't remember. Were we any good in 1990?
No, we were worst to first,
That's
remember?
Right. That's
90,
right.
we were terrible.
Yeah, you're right. What am I thinking? 91, then we turn it. Fan on Demand tonight. And then Dan Patrick. We talked a little bit about Dan Patrick with Craigers, who joined us, as I said, between 3 and 4. It's a very fun hour with Kilborn on the new podcast that I think drops on Tuesday that he's a part of via ESPN 30 for 30. We got some Wolves stuff in. It's interesting. Craigers not inspired by the fact that we have not given ourselves another option at the lead guard position, as opposed to expecting Dilly to raise his game that quickly. Sort of like what Tom Crean told us on yesterday's program. Sunday's sermons will include the return of Russo Radio.
Is that right?
Not only to the fan, but to the nation.
The country.
He's just coming back from Spain. He'll give us a review of his trip to my old country, España, and we'll see if we can get him going and get people going on the Kaprizov crisis, even though he says it's too early to call it exactly that. Enjoy the weekend, and I will talk to you on Sunday morning at 9.
Well, go Twins. Thank you for the airtime, and I'll talk to you soon.